Tips on writing a book for the first time. Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Walking with Randy, where we talk about writing, speaking, marketing, coaching, and marriage. Today we're talking about writing again. This content is actually a repeat. If you saw yesterday's Writing with Randy video, the sound was overpowered by background noise. So I'm coming out with a better version of it, I hope, today. So tips on writing a book for the first time, or writing a first-time book. Well, first of all, you will have a finished title to start with, but you do need to have some idea of what it is you're going to be writing about. So just use the topic as your working title as you start. Well then, what you can do is come up with a list of chapter ideas. And as you do that, coming up anywhere from 12 to 20 for the end result would be good. Now let me break that down for you a little bit farther if you're having trouble coming up with a list. Here's some things you can do. You can list some steps. Now this doesn't have to be the full 12 or 20, but list some steps of a problem to a solution. And step number 1, step number 2, and those would be chapters in your book. Now the step number 1 does not have to be the first chapter. That can be in there in different places. But come up with some steps that will take you from the problem to the solution. Now another way of thinking about this is coming up with steps that would lead you away from pain toward pleasure. Once you have that list of steps there, anywhere from 7 to 12 would be good, which could be part of your overall 12 to 20 that you will come up with. And if you've come up what you feel like is a little bit short, add in others from your brainstormed list if they're not already included. In other words, some of your steps may be the same things that you came up in your list of brainstorming earlier. All right. So once you've done that, you probably will end up somewhere between 12 and 20 pages. You ask, well, what if I'm writing fiction? Well, it's sort of the same thing. You would have a conflict, and then you would have steps toward the resolution. And then you can add in others, chapter ideas, sandwiched in around your basic steps going from the problem toward the solution. All right, now let's return to nonfiction again. Survey books on your topic and look at their table of contents, look at their chapter titles, and you may see some things that you have left out. If so, then include those ideas in your list. If you have too many, you may find that you can combine some of the ideas. All right, once you've done that, you've come up with a list of maybe 12 to 20 chapters. Doesn't even have to be 12, it could be 10, but you have your chapters listed out. Now the next thing to do is to plan your schedule. So if you plan your schedule on 1 to 3 days in order to get a chapter done, then 1 to 3 days. So let's say that you get a chapter a day done. Well, if you have a 200-page book or a 20-chapter book, you will have your rough draft done in 4 weeks' time. If you decide that you just want to do a third of a chapter a day, take 3 days to do a chapter, then of course it's going to take you 3 months in order to be able to complete that. But figure out your schedule, and then figure out a daily schedule. And in this daily schedule, you should plan to write anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes daily. You might divide them up into 3 different sections, or you may do them all in one session at once. Now, say 30 to 90 minutes. If you have looked at my book about how to write a book in 28 days or less, you will see how that coming up with a 75-minute session will work very well for this. Okay, now, we have different personalities. So some of us are fine with going through and getting our ideas down first and then going back and refining them. Others of us, it almost drives us crazy to put something imperfect down. In other words, we like to write a sentence and then refine the sentence, and write the paragraph and then refine it. For me, I like the fast and furious method. If you do that, then you can make time your constant. So you will write for a specified period of time as quickly as you can. And then the number of words will be the variable, but they will end up being about the same number of words daily over the long haul. Now, if you can't do it that way, and you have to be a perfectionist about writing your rough draft, then you will have to set a word goal. In other words, the number of words will be the constant, but that makes time your variable. You would have to be willing to spend extra time to come up with a number of words using that method. But you can do it either way. And if you are an edit as you go person, keep writing and editing until you reach your word goal. Okay, well, in this method, you can have your first draft done in about 4 weeks. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to know that you almost have a book written? I mean, you do have a book written, but now you want to polish the book. You want to make your basic book a great book. And that goes into the editing stage. And we can talk about that in other sessions. Well, anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, then I would urge you to go to randysblogs.com and look for more tips like these on writing. There's a tab there that says writing. If you will click on that, then you will get all the blog posts that relate to tips for writing a book. If you would like to dive a little bit deeper in it, then I would suggest you would go get my book, How to Write a Book in 28 Days or Less Without Stressing Yourself to Death. Now, the way to find that book is to go to Amazon.com, and where it says search Amazon, type in How to Write a Book in 28, and it should come up in the first or second result whenever you do that. Well, thank you.